Good morning. I'm your host, Melissa Vega. Thank you so much for joining us. Next month, an Out of This World event will take place here in South Texas at the DoSeum. They are getting in on the celestial fun for everyone. Chief Executive Officer Dan Manelli is here to tell us how the DoSeum is using the eclipse to get children into outer space. Welcome back to the show. Thank you for joining us. Yes. Okay, so just in time for April, the eclipse, the DoSeum has a new exhibit, Mission Astronaut. So tell us all about it and what visitors can expect.
Well, it's an exciting exhibit. It's one that we co-developed with Flying Fish and the Intrepid Museum of Air and Space in New York City, and we began the project 3 years ago. We knew that there's going to be a great deal of interest in space science around the eclipse, so we began really 3 years partnering on the development of Mission Astronaut, and the exhibit, it fits beautifully in our traveling gallery. It's full of interactivity focused on the life of an astronaut, the decisions they have to make. There's lots of interactivity, and the design language is amazing. And the kids make a lot of decisions, design challenges, and there's also lots of personalized learning. My favorite is the little spacesuit that they designed for themselves, and at the end, their image appears in the spacesuit. It's impossibly clever. We love it.
I love it, and I'm sure they love what they designed and then kind of seeing themselves in that suit. How fun is that?
We've added a couple things to the exhibit too. They have helmets, and it's a very photogenic exhibit. The design language is gorgeous.
I love that.
We even added our own exhibit, which explains the science of an eclipse. It's a manipulative model that shows how the path of totality is going to come over Texas. So we're really excited. We wanted to regionalize the exhibit, and we have our own exhibits design team that's really good at that.
Tell us how an exhibit like this gets children thinking about STEM and even STEM careers, STEM skills, and all that good stuff.
Well, it's an immersive story space, and they travel through, and there's an enclosure that would be on a planet, and there are images in high resolution of space, and there's lots of interactivity where they can pilot through different missions. There's a robotic arm that they will do a mission using the robotic arm. It's fascinating, and it's based on this fine motor skills, gross motor skills, but it's all enveloped in play. And it's an exhibit kids are returning to more than once because they're things they want to try again. That's a great exhibit where they have decisions to make, they have choice to move and to focus on different things such as how is food grown in space. It's a really handsome exhibit. There's tons of clever features, and kids can get lost in their own imagination. And it's really foundational concepts based in space.
How neat is that? And so April 8th, right around the corner, I understand that the DoSeum, collaborating with other institutions, I feel like everybody's getting into this, hosting a viewing party at Wolf Stadium. So tell us about the big eclipse party, who can attend, and what's going to happen.
Fantastic. Our team worked with the Scobie Planetarium, the Whitty Museum, a whole bunch of cultural infrastructure got together. Our lead on that was Dr. Richard Kissel, who's our program officer. And they put together essentially a viewing party that will start at 10 a.m. on the 8th of April. And it's a special experience. I think it's going to be one of those experiences that will stay with the child into their adult life. I remember my first eclipse, and there'll be viewers that they can keep, and everyone will come together. And we're doing it at the stadium because that's where we'll have the best conditions to see the eclipse, and that was really important.
I love it. And about how many people do you guys expect?
About 800, but I have to check that number. That seems familiar to me.
Got it. So do they have to register, or can they just show up, or how does that work?
Online, they can log on to our website, doseum.org, and they'll have all the information, directions. It'll be exciting. I
love that. So, of course, the DoSeum making sure that everyone can get on the learning, get in with the learning by being a part of the Museum for All program. So tell us about this partnership that you guys have going on.
It's a national initiative that was co-developed by the alliance, the that governs museums and helps us develop strategy. And they decided, and back in 2018, when I first came to San Antonio, we had 3 months of data where we had tried this model of inviting guests to come, and if they are on public support for nutrition, a SNAP or an EBT card, they can use that card to get into museums at an 80% discount. And so we did it, we had 3 months of data, and then when we built the year ahead model financially, we built that into the model. We were the first to adopt the Museums for All program. It means essentially that you can come for $3 and spend the whole day playing. And a lot of families tell us that it is a game changer for them. And the reason we were excited about it is that any family who needs to use it can use it and come when they can. And their experience is indistinguishable from any other guest. We think it's a really important piece of strategy, and we're really proud. Nationally, museums see about 3% of their guests through the Museums for All program. We see over 20%, almost 7 times as many guests through this program, and the parents tell me they love it because it makes it manageable for them to come and participate with the DoSeum's programs, and that was our idea. We're focused on the invisible learner. For us, that's the child who should be participating, yet is not yet on campus. So what we have to do is think systematically about removing barriers to participation, and the economics is a big one. If you've got a grocery bill, a rent bill, and all the things that families have to budget, if you're on public assistance for nutrition, the museum community feels that enrichment and learning are as important as food, so we also offer the discounted admission for that.
I love that because, you know, every child needs that enrichment and that learning regardless of what the parent's socioeconomic status may be in life.
We want them to think that learning is an opportunity, not a chore, and that learning through play, it really positions them for success in school. You know, it makes them feel that school is for them. You know, it's their special time in life, and they're only young for a short time. They're only small for a little while, I always say.
I love it. That's something they'll always remember. And how has this partnership been, you know, kind of impacting the DoSeum?
Well, it makes, the highest ideal is that the guest of a museum will mirror the city's demographics. And this is how we have done it. For us, it makes sure that people who want to participate can participate, and the guests look like a neighborhood. You know, it's great. We love it. We offer several forms of discounted admissions, and we have free family nights that are lavishly supported by HEB, and that's great. But the Museums for All program is part of that whole package of democratizing access to our programs. We want everyone to find their way.
And there is a lot of programs that the DoSeum has. I mean, so many just exhibits, so many things that you can do and see and play and go. And so how can viewers stay up to date with everything that's happening with you guys?
Well, we have a really good social media person, Carly, who produces fresh content and distributes it through all of our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, all of them. LinkedIn is actually getting to be very popular. And then our website is newly redesigned this year. Our marketing team is led by Sandra Garcia, who's a native San Antonian who knows the city better than anyone I've met. And she actually finds ways to reach out to different areas. And we actually make a heat map of where our guests are coming from. And if we see a quiet region of the city, we proactively reach out to them through direct mailing and by targeted social media. And we update that with images. And we think it's really important that they be actually our own community playing in the museum, when sometimes museums will use a stock image of a kid, and sometimes you'll see the same kid in several museum ads. With the DoSeum, we really wanted to make sure that we have our own guests represented in the promotional media.
I love that, creating that diversity, so very important. Well, Dan, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.